All right, so I'm sorry about that. So we find ourselves today, I don't know, what is on our scroll? 156, great. And in the other version of the Hebrew version of the Hachzek Mesillas Yesharim, we're actually picking up on page 52, the top, the Chachamim Zichron Livracha, as we read ahead a little bit in yesterday's shir. So today's Thursday, the 9th of Cheshvan, November 3rd, and we are continuing Rishon today where we will complete Perek Tes. So the Ramchal writes as follows. He says, the Chachamim Zichron Livracha, Pershu ha'inyan kamin chomer. So let's remember again in yesterday's shir, we're speaking about the idea that Ramchal said that ira, an amplified sense of fear of all different kinds of life circumstances, paralyzes one from engaging in dynamic life activity, and obviously undermines one's ability to possess the need of zrizos. So the Ramchal explains, Laharos ad heichal magas, yiras ha'hevel, lahafrish ha'adam min ha'maisatov. So Chazal give a mashal. They give a parable to show how this fear could be so paralyzing and prevent a person from accomplishing anything. So he quotes here the Gemara, the Medrash in Dvarim Rabbah, Shiva Dvarim Amar Shlomo Ba'atzal. Shlomo Melech said 7 things about a lazy person. Keitzad Amru La'atzal. So for example, what happens? What's the typical conversation with a lazy individual? They say, Harirabcha Ba'ir, Leich Ulamat Torah Mimenu. You say to a person, your Rebbe is here in town. Go and learn Torah from him. So what does the lazy person say? I would go to the shir, but I'm really scared that there may be lions on the road. Don't worry. Your Rebbe's already inside the city. You don't have to travel to any uninhabited areas. There's no lions. You think there are no lions, but maybe one of the lions wandered into the city. Your Rebbe is sitting in your dining room, right? He's in your house. There's no concern of lions inside of the house. So ultimately, again, not your Rebbe's in your house, but your Rebbe's in a house, right? So the person says, you know what, I would go. I'm just concerned that when I get to the house that my Rebbe is in, what's going to happen? The door is going to be closed. They tell him, don't worry, the door's open. Now, what are you supposed to say? Right? The Rebbe's in the city, he's in a house, the door is open, there are really no more excuses. So the person says, you know what, whether the door is open, door is closed, the truth is, I need to sleep a little bit more. I'm tired. I need just a few more minutes of sleep. So we'll say, obviously, what's the message of the mashal? The message of the mashal, and by the way, this mashal kind of combines both elements. The elements of laziness, which is the antithesis of zrizos, and the element of unfounded fears, which just paralyze a person from doing anything. But the incredible part is that when a person lives in a state of unfounded fear for too long, it creates a systemic sense of laziness. He says, Halamarata, Shin Hayira Goremeshes Atza. This is incredible. So you see from here something very important. It's not fear that causes laziness, Ela Atzla Goremes Lo Shiyis Yare. Rather, it's laziness which causes fear. And they'll say, what a profound statement. It's not fear which causes laziness, but rather it's laziness which causes fear. And I will say this is something we contend with all of the time. And this is one of these very difficult things to really be honest about. In other words, we saw in yesterday's shir, Ramchal said there are legitimate fears in life. And a person has to be mindful of those legitimate fears, right? The person just can't dismiss all real fears in life, but yet there's this incredible balance. Has my laziness engendered a sense of fear? In other words, are my fears excuses for me not to engage in dynamic activity, or are they legitimate? And it's this tension that we live with each and every day. Umaskil al davar yimtza emes lamito v'das lenovo nakol kvar nispar inyan zuzas ber ba'ar she'ech shov hayoso maspik lehe'aras halev ve'achacham yechkam od v'yosif lekach. Jabosei, so the Ramchal says now at this point in time, we've really gone ahead and explained what the midah of zrizos is, We've also explained at the end of the day what are the things which detract or prevent one from acquiring this sense of nidos, of zrizos, And now, it's up to us as individuals to decide what we want out of life. So the Ramchal will say this is the end of the chapter and this is the end of the section of zrizos. So Ramchal says, and now you see, Ki roi lizrizos lihios bahadraga achar hazihirus. So we'll say, so now, as we close out the section on Zrizos, Ramchal kind of zooms out a little bit and gives us a panoramic view. Now we've done the first two steps in Mesillas Yesharim, Zihirus and Zrizos. And then Ramchal explains, now you understand why the order is this way. The order is important as well. That Zihirus has to come before Zrizos. Why? He says, Ki al harov lo yihya adam zaris im lo yihya zar b'tchila. Because I will say most times in life, if a person doesn't have zihirus, they're not going to have zrizos. He says, why? Ki mishalo yosim libo lizar b'masav l'hispani ba'avodah mishpatel shezoi midas hazihirus kimo shakasafti. So I will say, because if a person doesn't have zihirus, what's zihirus? On the most basic level, zihirus is that I'm contemplative, that I'm thoughtful, that I'm mindful, that I think about that my actions have repercussions and ramifications, and that I think that what I do absolutely matters on every single level. If a person doesn't possess the midah of zihirus, he says, Kasha sheyilbash avo v'chemda eleha v'yizdaris b'tshuka l'fnei boro. See, Rabbi say, remember again, if I don't contemplate my actions, and I don't live in a state of mindfulness, I'm not going to be zoriz. Right? I'm not going to have zrizos. I'm not going to run to seize my opportunities. I'm not going to run to actualize my potential. I'm not going to go ahead and be zoriz, be alacritous in the way that I approach life. He goes on, Kihine, hu odena toveh betavos hagufnius, v'ratz merutzas hargelu hamarachiko mikol zeh. Because we'll say, if there's no zihirus, then the truth is, I have absolutely no understanding that I should be running to seize any dynamic spiritual opportunity. Because as far as I'm concerned, life is just simply about physical satisfaction and gratification. Amnam, achar shekvar pakach ein of liros masav alizarban. But I will say, after my eyes have been opened, how have my eyes been opened? My eyes have been opened through zihirus. Right now, my eyes have been opened, and now I understand that I have to be mindful, that I have to ultimately understand the impact of all of my actions. Now that my eyes have been opened, liros masav alizarim, to see that my actions matter, and to realize that I have to be vigilant with them, the chashav cheshbon hamitzvos va'averos, and I realize that every single mitzvah and avera matters. After I know all of this, kasher zacharnu nakel hu sheyasra min hara v'yishtokik elatov. Then I will say, after zihirus, now I could be zrizos. Now I could be zariz. Now I can inculcate within myself the sense of zrizos, because now I know, since my actions matter, I have to grab the opportunities of life. I can't let things escape. Remember again, like we spoke about, pre-actional zrizos, when an opportunity goes and it presents itself, grab it, and then actional zrizos, which is, when you start something, finish it quickly. Because if not, ultimately, again, there could be many obstacles and impediments which prevent you from fully accomplishing. But I could only recognize the importance of zrizos after I've fully inculcated within myself a sense of zrizos. Shiyasim in hara v'yishtokek elatov v'zeh pashat. The Ramchal says this is pashat. And I will say, the good thing about being the Ramchal is a lot of things are pashat. Right? A lot of things are obvious. So the good news is, for us, even though a lot of things are not pashat, Baruch Hashem, we have a Mesillas Yesharim. So the Mesillas Yesharim is able to put before us, literally again, the path of success, the pathway to self-actualization, the pathway to a meaningful life. So even though it might not be pashat for us, after learning the Ramchal, at least we have a plan. I will say Mazel Tov on completing Parak Test, the 9th chapter of Mesillas Yesharim. Emiras Hashem, tomorrow we begin chapter 10, the section of Nikios, of cleanliness. We'll see what that midah actually means. I will say Shkoyach.